So this is hip and shoulder circles part 3. And start off lying on your back just for a moment to check in with yourself and just to start bringing your attention within. Notice what's making contact and what isn't. And for a full body scan, you can find that on my 5-minute Valdez page. And after you've done that, just come on up to one side, whichever your favorite side is. And this is part 3. So make sure that you have done parts 1 and 2 first. We'll go through those fairly quickly. So we begin on our side with our knees around 90 degrees, hand in front. And just begin with the shoulders, of bringing your top shoulder forward a little bit and then back to neutral. And just do that a few times to remind yourself what that feels like. Don't go as far as you can go. Always stay underneath any level of discomfort or pain. And then take your shoulder back. Notice how the movement travels through your neck and your rib cage. Maybe you can feel it in your pelvis. And then alternate going forward and back a few times. Just slow and easy, and find a breath that makes the movement easier. And then pause. And now take your shoulder towards your ear and then back to neutral. And again, stay within a level of comfort, stay underneath any pain or discomfort. Notice how the movement is traveling. How does it feel in your rib cage, in your neck, in your jaw? What's happening in your wrist? And then take your shoulder down and back to neutral. In the same way, just small and easy and breathing. And then begin to alternate. And just start to notice if there's any places where there are any jumps or any hiccups. And then just go smaller and slower through those places. The nervous system is recording the movement, and it is intelligent enough that it can figure out how to improve it. We don't have to tell it. So then pause. Now we've done the cardinal directions. So now begin by taking your shoulder up to your ear and then bring it back and then down and forward in a circle. And the idea is not to make this circle as big as possible. The idea is to make the movement as smooth as possible. We're going for quality rather than quantity. So just feel this circle that you're making with your shoulder, again, keeping it small. Now, if it hurts you to do any movement at all, then do it so small nobody could even tell you're moving, and the nervous system cannot tell the difference. So just take it down as small as possible. And see what that feels like. See what you have to do to keep this movement just so tiny. And then let the movement just start to grow a little bit by little bit. Just trying to make it round and smooth movement. And notice if there's any places where you may be holding any tension, like your jaw or your neck, and see if you can let that go. If you release your neck and let your head move with the movement, it will just make it easier. And then change directions. Now pause. We're going to do the same thing with the hips. So bring your top hip forward and back, and forward and back, and don't go as far as you can go. And bring your attention into your hip joint. And notice how your knee is sliding forward and back. Notice how the movement travels up your back. How far up can you feel it? Can you feel it into your head? Now, if you're holding any tension anywhere up in your back, you may not be moving your head. See what you can do to bring your attention to those places where you may be holding, and let it go if you can. And then pause. And now take your hip upward towards your ear and downward towards your feet a few times. And again, this does not have to be a big movement. There were times in the training when I hurt myself because I was trying to make the movement bigger than was comfortable. So just let go of any ambition that you have. Just keep it small and easy. We're concentrating on just having the movement be very smooth. Now pause. And now again, we've done the cardinal directions. So bring your hip forward and then down and back and up in a circle. Keeping it small and easy, just within your comfortable range. And can you feel how your opposite hip is also making a hip circle against the floor? And can you feel how your head may also be making a circle against the floor? And your shoulder. So this circle is being reflected throughout your body. And just notice if there's any places you may be holding tension that's preventing this movement from traveling. See if you can let it go. And then change directions. Just making it round and smooth. And now pause. Just rest for a moment. And now see if you can do the hip and shoulder circles at the same time. So take your shoulder and your hip forward and down and back and up. Letting go of any tension in your neck or your jaw, your back. Make sure you're breathing. And then change directions. And then pause. And now for the big finale, we can try and take our shoulders and hips in the opposite direction. So take your hip downward and your shoulder upward. And now take your hip back and your arm forward. Your hip up and your arm down so that they come together. And then opposite, one forward, one back, one up, one down. And just see if you can do this in opposite directions. And keep it small and easy. And then change directions. And if you can't do this just yet, don't worry about it. You will eventually. We make the impossible possible, the possible easy, and the easy elegant. So the first thing you have to do is just make it possible. And it might be clumsy at first, but then as you do it and your brain starts to record these sensory connections, it becomes easier. And then finally, as everything becomes extremely efficient, it becomes elegant. So just roll over onto your back. And notice any differences between the one side you've been working with and the other side. Just notice if one side's longer, heavier, bigger, lighter. Just notice. And then when you're ready, you can do it on the other side.